about me bringing us in all the time. So go ahead. We're recording now. Go ahead.
Even though you already started the recording.
I can edit it in post,
What a
Bob.
tool. What a
Don't
tool.
even start. Adam's so happy to be here tonight.
Bree,
This is already off the rails.
welcome back, everybody, to the No Sauce Podcast with Kyle on the left, John on the right. Tonight we got a special guest with us, Mr. Adam Morgan, from our softball days. He's had to put up with the shenanigans and crap from Kyle. And we figured, hey, why not, since he moved away, why not bring him right back in and make him face it all over again? So,
Why do you say
well,
shenanigans with Kyle when the most shenanigans he had was with you?
Well, we're gonna start this off right. Hey, Adam, what time did Kyle tell us to gather tonight to be ready to go?
We are approximately 49 minutes late.
I hate
Yeah,
you guys.
thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. And
Are
then
these
as
your
soon as he
friends?
sends the
No, they're
link
not
to
my
everybody
friends.
to join, as soon as he sends the link to everybody to join, he immediately calls me within a minute saying, "Are you getting on yet?" This was after 10 minutes being like, "Hey guys, run a little behind." Like tick tock, dude. So
He had a very valid excuse for being behind.
yeah, he's
Listen,
trying to keep
smoke
his
detectors are
house
an
safe
important
or
thing to
something.
make sure that they are working. So yeah, I did have a valid excuse. All right.
How about get your internet to work first? How about that?
It's just not. You know what's funny is when I record, we're doing this local recording for this thing, and my clip actually looks clear. Like that's what I use when I put it in
Is it?
post, so it looks
So,
clear.
so people are watching the podcast, being like, "I don't know what these idiots are talking about."
They have no clue what we're talking about because the picture looks so clear right now. Even though I bet Adam is
So we
like,
need to
no,
just,
it doesn't look clear at
yeah,
all.
we need to ignore the choppiness. It's not real. It's a figment
Yeah.
of our
Okay.
imagination.
Yes.
Sounds good.
So
Sounds good.
yeah, good
It's kind of
time.
like the Cubs being a real baseball team. They're not.
Oh, you got jokes, huh?
Oh yeah, we got jokes for days, dude. Yep. So before we get into everything else, Adam, how's life?
Life is great. So it's coming up on 2 years. I've been in Dallas now. So it's been a
Yeah.
little bit. Um, finally
Did you?
getting settled in. Finally feel like it's a home. I don't have to use my GPS to go absolutely everywhere now. There's some places I can get to without a GPS. Um, but no, so things are good. Work's good. Samantha's doing well.
I was gonna
She
ask.
just
Yeah.
finished her PhD about within the last 3 months or so. So Dr. Sam Greenberg now.
Oh. So are
I'll
you
make sure to throw that
Doctor
in whenever I
Mister
can.
Mister
I like
Doc
it.
Doctor Mister
Something, yeah.
something like that?
So that's one of the things she likes to tease about. So we moved to Dallas for a job opportunity for her. She had the opportunity to create a genetic counseling program at UT
Okay.
Southwestern. And so she's the founding director of this program. And she likes to tease that I am the first dude of genetic counseling at UT Southwestern.
We'll have to probably
Wait,
ask
say that
because
again. You're the first
that's
dude at genetic counseling.
Yes,
You got to elaborate
the
on that.
first dude
Why would
of
you say that?
the
it's
first
kind
dude
of like the
of
first
genetic
lady,
counseling.
is the
Yeah,
president's wife,
exactly.
but he's the first dude.
Oh, okay. Now
You get it? Did it go around you, go over your
it
head?
did a little bit.
Okay.
Not gonna lie,
Okay.
it
Well,
did.
that's
So
good.
she
Dude,
she
you've had to
will watch
face.
this,
She
and so
will.
we have
Okay.
yeah she will. So we have to get on her about this. Her college does not have a mascot. I think that we
What?
need to get right because they're a medical school. No mascot. It's
What are they
horrible.
like?
It's
The
horrible.
bloody syringes?
That we figure something out. We need to take a fan vote, right? let's
So
get let's get a mascot and let's get a logo so she can get some swag.
so what is?
Yeah, that's
So
weird. Why would you
correct
not
me if
have
I'm
a
wrong. What is
mascot, even if it's a medical school?
Well,
No sports
because
teams.
Kyle, like intramural teams don't have mascots normally.
Well, you can still make your own mascot. You can create one.
Yeah, you could
I,
be like Stanford.
Yeah, just have a
Um,
cardinal. Yeah, a tree.
a tree.
Wait,
a
that's not even
tree.
their official mascot. That's the band mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
So
sounds
what
like
is?
Kyle wants to elaborate on what that is, right?
What?
So
Yeah, I
uh,
think he does.
so essentially, what her profession does, genetic counseling with a stress and focus on cancer genetics. So if someone was to be diagnosed with cancer, they would essentially do a deep dive and find the mutation that causes that cancer. And then once they find that mutation, they would establish a list of immediate family who would be susceptible and possibly have that same mutation, and then test those individuals so that now they have a chance at early prevention, right? So they
Okay.
kick monitoring up, they do things like that. So it's a big focus on early detection
Preventative
and
measures.
prevention. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So um, it's a
Genome
master's degree
mapping, all that.
program. Yeah, so basically what they're doing is they're creating the next generation of genetic counselors that'll be out in the field. So this is their first year of having students. So she's going through all the joys of having a full class and kind of managing that. So it's shifted from creating a program and getting accreditation and getting funding and hiring on a staff to now actually running the day to day and having the students around.
Okay, that's got to be crazy. You walk in class and be like, "Well, welcome, students. I was just a student last week, but
Right.
that's no dig, Samantha. You're awesome. Stay in
I
school.
didn't
Don't do
realize that
drugs."
you moved down to Dallas for her. I thought it was for you because you had found something better than what you were doing here in Salt Lake.
Well, so we knew she had taken the job and was working remotely, right? There was no program. So we
Hmm.
always knew we were kind of going to Dallas. And so I kind of casually started looking. And when I found a job, I pulled the trigger. So she was traveling back and forth and doing some remote stuff and still spending some time in Salt Lake. So I actually beat her here physically. I moved before she did because of the timing of the job. Um, so little weird on the timing, but she was working for about 6 months um, on this job before I moved. So she's actually been, it's probably coming up on 2.5 years. She's been employed with them, but it took the first 18 months was building the program and getting it accredited and all that. And then they had to do the match process, which is wild compared to like normal students. Like as far as you try to do it, you apply and you get in, right? Well, they
Hmm.
actually have like this match thing where you have the students say, "Here's my top 5 schools," and then the schools rank the people, and you try to match them up. It's wild. So they have a match day, and it's a big process. So they do things completely different than any other program or any other field I've ever seen.
Very nice.
I
Very
like it
nice.
though.
Sorry, I'm just trying to
We need
find
you to
some.
figure out a way to get back to Utah. It'd
So
be
long
nice.
term, I would love that to happen. I think honestly Samantha would too. So if anybody from University of Utah is listening, if that position comes open, she'd be
Come on,
interested.
U Health, get on it right away. Um, while Kyle's looking very uninterested and not paying
No, I'm
attention.
trying to. I was trying to find a couple photos, you
Hey,
guys. Like,
well,
there's a couple photos I
yeah,
have
sure,
from. You know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Stop it.
It's okay. Just go do your thing. We're gonna sit over here and have a
We're
conversation.
gonna have a conversation. We can talk
Um,
about Vegas. So let's bring up some of the juicy stuff.
hold
So
on, hold on. First and foremost, we've had a few podcasts on that basically centered around college football.
oh,
I'm
okay,
gonna
God,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
ask
so
you,
going on about
yeah.
this.
how are you coping with this season? I mean, is it completely turned around
Oh,
They
because of the
beat
last
Ohio State. He
win?
doesn't even care. They beat Ohio State.
yeah.
He
So
doesn't
so
care.
two things. One, we beat Ohio State, right? So it
Okay,
makes everything okay.
okay,
But
that's what I
two,
figured.
we knew going in, right? Like so you win the Super Bowl or essentially of college football, right? You're national champions. You beat Alabama, which is a bigger thing. So on the way there, you beat Alabama, which is a feat in itself, and
Hmm.
exercise some demons. If you remember when Michigan was first kind of coming back, they opened up in Dallas, and Michigan was supposed to be back, and Alabama just curb stomped them,
Ooh, yep.
right? So it kind of this big, huge divide. Well, that kind of exercised some demons. You beat them, you go on, you beat Washington, um, and then you lose what 14 to the draft, plus
Mm,
most of your coaching staff. Like it was gonna be a down season. Our
yeah.
schedule was also ridiculous. If you look back, there's 6 or 7 teams on in the college football playoff that we played. You know what I mean? So our schedule was loaded. Uh, 7-5 and win Ohio State, you take that, and then you look to the future. We got the number one quarterback in the nation coming in, right? Looking to probably play early. Um, New OC coming in, so I think things are heading the right direction. Um, I do have concerns that Sharon Moore um, could be Brady Hoke 2.0.
Good point.
Um,
Yeah.
so, and not to say he's not a good coach, he is, but first time out leading a program like Michigan. We'll see, right? He seems to be a good recruiter. Does have the X's and O's. Brady Hoke was successful for his first 3 or 4 seasons too, until he had to get his own players in, right? And it started, the cracks kind of showed. But how do you not give him the job, right? Interim coach at end of the season, beats Ohio State. You have no choice but to give him the job. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, he beat Penn State too last year when he was the interim guy last year.
He was interim for that one
I was
too.
with you watching that game last year.
Absolutely, yeah. We were. I
Good
don't
time.
even remember where we were, on a patio somewhere.
We were at some
And quick-
brunch place that Sam wanted to go to. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good times. And then we
It's a
went
quick-
to. Oh,
Quick
sorry.
correction for anybody checking. It's 4 teams that they played: Texas,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State. So,
There you go.
you know,
Good.
but still,
Thanks
that's
for the-
pretty
thanks for the
good.
correction. What's up with your mustache? I didn't even realize you had a mustache.
You like
Yeah,
that?
that's no.
Hey, look,
No.
look. You're just jealous because you can't grow anything that's like.
I don't want to
subs-
grow anything.
substance.
It's facial hair bugs me. Like it's I know it doesn't bug some guys, but it bugs me.
Your
So-
boyfriend's facial hair doesn't bug you.
Anyways, yeah. So we went to a brunch place, and then Sunday we hung out. Did you ever get your enough alcohol to get your money back from that at the what's it called now? Texas Live on that table?
Oh yeah. So the group came over from the Giants game,
Right.
which was we had friends in watching the Giants play at Dallas, right? So they left at halftime, came over to the table, a bunch of food was ordered, all good in the end. They also didn't kick us out when the game was over. They let us stay as long as we wanted. So
Really? That's
they didn't have the
awesome.
table booked after, so we just stayed for the night game,
Ah,
and
that
so it was all
works.
good.
It's pretty cool, John. We watched the game at Texas Live, had a nice big booth, and we ate
Texas
as much
Live's the
food,
one
and they
with
drank
like
as much as they could.
like the
And
dome screen, the IMAX screen, right?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
not the dome screen, not the IMAX, but it's very like circa Vegas. It looks like a sports
Okay.
book. Like it looks like a sports book wall, except it's a bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But great place to take in a game.
Okay.
They do have what you're talking about though, where
Yeah.
it's like the curved like sphere.
where is
yeah,
that?
we're there.
So that's up in Frisco,
Okay.
near where the Star is where the Cowboys
Yeah.
headquarters is.
Hmm.
That is like, it's a hot ticket though. Really hard to get seats for it for any game of substance.
Yeah. Because it didn't. I thought, if I remember seeing correctly, they even had like World Series game. Like it's not just football or whatever, but they have
No, they play
everything.
UFC, college football, college basketball. Like there's something every night of the week.
That's fun.
That was way cool. Way cool.
That's way
Because they
fun.
did it for the Michigan Texas game.
Mm-hmm.
Big one. I kept seeing the video for that. So that's way cool. Way cool. Crazy what technology does though these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crazy what technology. So
yeah.
we need to talk about some softball. As soon as I asked Adam about coming on here, John, that's exactly what he said. We're going to talk about some softball stories.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah,
So, but both of you have really good experiences.
we
Yeah.
really do. We really do.
Some more costly than others, but you know.
We'll start off with mine first.
Yeah.
Of course. And hey, by the way, Adam, just your opinion. The content Kyle put out last week, is it one-sided? Everything was just Kyle talking the whole
It was
entire
all
time.
about that Airbnb.
Well,
dude.
it was
It was awful.
There was a lot about the Airbnb, right?
It was like 6 parts, 7 parts,
It was 4.
12
And
parts.
we got a ton of views on them too. So shut up, because it was awful. Like,
Dude, you should have taken screenshots of like and posted of the sign and of all that stuff.
I
So, like,
should have.
buyers beware.
That's
You
what I
were
put my
being
phone
watched.
before while you guys were talking. I was pulling up a couple photos from our softball trips that I have of Adam during our heydays. So that's what I was doing. I'm learning here, John. I'm working it right now. So
Multitasking is not your strength, so I appreciate you
but I'm
trying.
still doing things. So well, the reason I'm starting with my story is because it comes before yours, because it was the first Worlds we went to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No,
I
wait,
still
take
somehow
that
came
back.
back.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
2 years before we went. It was in
Oh, this was
2019.
the one where you went flying through the Is this that story?
Yes, it's the one where
Okay.
we started off at Planet Hollywood, right? And you took a bunch of Adam got a bunch of fireballs inside a store at
Yep.
that Planet Hollywood where you walk to the strip. And I think
Mhm.
you downed them all pretty quick too, right?
It wasn't just me, but yes.
Well, you and Robert and whoever else was with
And
us.
Kit.
Your Honor, I was not the only one.
Yeah.
I was
So
not the only one in the debauchery.
so we started walking the strip and we stopped at Caesars, right out in front of Caesars.
Mhm.
And we played some cornhole right out in front of Caesars. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
I'll show you a picture. I got to pull it up now.
It
This
just
is a
it blows my
picture I
mind
took
that there
of
was
these.
even cornhole out in front of like a big
Like,
hotel
It
like that.
it was like right
It was
on the
right outside
strip,
the
like it was
bar.
right off the sidewalk.
Yeah, right outside the bar.
It'd be awesome to like play across the
Look
strip,
at that
just like
photo.
throwing bags over cars.
Look at who's all in that photo. Adam.
Yeah, everybody with the fireball.
Yeah, they're all high. They're all drunk at that time almost. So
Was alcohol the only substance being used?
was
By
what?
me, yes. I can't speak for others. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's not saying they did. I don't remember, to be
Yes,
honest,
I
if they
think it
were.
was. And so we walked the strip that entire day, and then we went back to the truck. And I wanted to go see Fremont Street after we saw the Bellagio's show. After
Was
Ryan
this the
sent
year
us
we had the curfew?
Ryan sent
Yeah,
us
this
that
was
text
curfew
message
year.
about being in
Yes.
at
Yeah,
9 o'clock or
we needed to
something.
be home.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Don showed up
I
late.
just
He was so mad at us because he had to share a room with Devin. Do you remember that?
Mhm. Yeah,
He
but
was
he
so
forgot his
mad.
wallet, right?
He's like, "Why didn't you just save a
yeah,
room for me so I could have my own room?" Because we were
yeah, it was like
at an Airbnb.
all you guys get your own rooms. And see, in hindsight, I'll let you tell your story, but in hindsight, I should have been bunking with Adam that year to make sure he didn't die of a concussion.
Well, we're gonna get to that here in a
But
minute,
none of
okay?
you
People
guys
probably
cared.
already heard it, but
None
we're
of
gonna
you
get to
guys
that.
cared enough.
Well, then we go to Fremont
I think
Street
Kyle
and
was
we see
very concerned.
we went to Fremont Street and we saw the
Oh,
old
Kyle, Adam, you
handicapped
okay?
stripper, the retired stripper.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got my yard-long slushie, which is a Vegas staple for me.
He was hammered. It was
Dude,
us two, it was Kit, Robert, Gannon, Devin Gomez, and Keegan, I think, was with us too.
Mhm.
There was 7 of us all
jeez.
together.
I
Anyways,
just remember driving down and like seeing your guys' texts and pictures and stuff. I was like, I don't know if I would have fully enjoyed being there. I mean, I probably would have enjoyed a little bit of cornhole and stuff, but like,
we had good food. Was that the first time we found that bar too at the Venetian?
yeah, I
Mhm.
remember you guys because
It
you
was,
talked
huh?
about
We
it. Didn't we
stopped
go
there to
there?
get something to eat. Yeah. So anyway, so then we're driving back in my truck. So we got 3 in the front, 4 in the back. Adam's just passed out, head back. My middle seat's up, my middle console's up. It's plastic where the cup holders are. And as we get
Well,
to the
yeah,
road where I have to turn right to go to the Airbnb, I slam on the brakes as hard as I can, and he cracks the plastic cup holders, like cracks it. And then I'm dying laughing. I couldn't see because my eyes were so watering. We finally made it back to the house, and he's the first one out of the truck. I couldn't even check him to see if he was concussed or anything like that. So I'm freaking out because you're not supposed to go to sleep if you're concussed. But as we've told this before, he was the first one awake the next morning. So
So the other thing that you guys may or may not know, my superpower is that I don't get hangovers.
wow.
I'm willing to bet that there's people listening to this that would be pissed off to know that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, you guys have been around it. So the stories that we'll get to later, my Vegas wife, who took care of
Jeez,
me.
Murphy. Dude,
I
that
hopped
was
right out of bed the next day at that time too, right?
My Vegas wife. I love it. I love it.
dude.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wish I
but
would have recorded like half of that night. It was like the next morning sucked. Like, let's be honest, that sucked.
Yeah.
But
I thought you guys were
I
playing
just,
a joke on us when you called me. When
oh
Adam
yeah,
called
no,
me and said our stuff is gone, I thought you were playing a joke on me because I'm gullible like that. So yeah.
dude, I'm livid to this day. Like,
So also to make sure everybody understands, we're 90% sure that I didn't actually have a concussion. So
90% sure. We never had,
90% sure.
I think you played pretty well the next day. I mean, we went 2-2, and we had a worthless DHH who played really bad, so that
I-
didn't help.
You were kind of a legend at the Fields that day.
I was. We learned that.
That's why I wore my Legend shirt. Just for you.
Yeah, good times. That was the same tournament. We've already talked about this, but that was the same tournament that Devin Gomez said can of corn on an easy ground ball and threw it into the dugout.
I was playing first base.
Yeah,
Yes.
That ball
Yes, you were.
missed me by about 20 feet.
it almost hit me in the dugout.
I remember us locking eyes and like I was like,
That was the same year that we went to Worlds for U-Trip, I believe, and he came down for the one game and then bolted because he lost his wallet.
That was the wallet thing. Yeah, he left it
Yep.
at a gas station or something. Who knows?
Goodness.
yeah, I don't miss those types of things. Like, and I think we've talked about this a little bit. Like when we go to tournaments like that out of state, like we're traveling, we're staying the night a couple nights. Like, I had the intention of I want to go play and win, and then when people are bailing or whatever, but hold on, let me back up. I want to go and win, but not to the extent that like it takes away the fun.
Sure.
The fun of it all, right? Like I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, guys, it's 9:07. We should have been in bed by now. You need to be rested. Make sure we have the pickle juice and everything, because in case of cramps, like we're old enough, right? We go and have fun, and like most of the time, people aren't overdoing it at home with drugs or alcohol or anything like that. So this is kind of like a time where people can kind of let loose and just do whatever, right? But
that's why we go down a day ahead so the guys can get all that out of them. So we go play and have fun.
Well,
so you
we
chose
normally
to
do
come
that
later that tournament, though. You chose to come later that night.
No, I'm just talking about the next year. We didn't really do that. We went and partied a little too much in between Friday and Saturday, and then that's why we didn't have equipment Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's good.
I remember the bar at the Venetian.
No, because the one that we're talking about,
all you
where
have to
he
do is
cracked
hit the
his
little
head,
clicker
was
that says lock.
I did, but then I was chasing you down in the freaking parking lot because there was a cop ahead, and you wanted to go talk to him, and I forgot the cooler in the car, so I went back to get it, grabbed it, and quickly caught up with you and didn't hit it a second time.
That cop had to talk to me. I knew it in my heart.
This is how it was. Samantha, hi. Oh, shh. There's a cop here. Hold on. I gotta go. I might get arrested. And you hung up on her. And she didn't hear from you for like another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And then that time passed. She calls. You were on the bed just.
Hold on. In that 10-minute window, I talked to the cop. I high-fived the pit boss. I bought you a candy apple.
Yes, you did.
And got upstairs and got to sleep.
Hey, I have a picture from that night from the bar. I have a picture. This was Adam at the bar.
And obviously we're in Vegas, so there's no windows, but that was probably about 5 o'clock. Like it was not late.
Yeah, because we had lost the first game, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And we played early. We lost.
We got done, and we knew we weren't playing until the next day, so we just were like, "Hey, let's go get drinks. Let's go get food." And then we played beer
pong at that place when we finally got there.
Yep. Who did I have on my team? Was it you, Adam, or who did I have?
No, it was me and you.
Adam was drinking for me, so I would shoot. I'll be honest; it took a little while to get used to the throwing. They're like, Good Lord, how are you that bad and you're not even drinking? And I was like,
no,
this is not a game that sober
for
people play.
Those of you who don't drink, it gets a little easier. You find like your sweet spot once you get to a certain level, right?
Yep. I just remember there was times where like the other guys were throwing the ball and it was bouncing out the doors onto like the balcony of the Venetian. It was just like, keep it in here.
I'm also fairly sure we were politely asked to leave after like the third dropped pitcher.
Yeah, because what's his face?
Because I had to drive Zach Squire's car back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He was hammered, and they were. Yeah, that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
Different special guest.
Keaton thought we were crazy because he was one driving some of you guys back to the hotel, or the other guys like Kit and Robert back to the hotel too. So.
Yep.
Good
That
times.
was
But anyways, go on about your story. What happens when you get to the hotel?
Yes. So
so.
now
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have talked to the police officer. I have high-fived the pit boss. I have bought a candy apple for John, and
Yeah.
I have successfully passed out all in about 10 minutes.
Yes.
The best,
Pretty efficient.
the best was this was you. We're walking down that hallway. We get to the security stand. We've already passed the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory store, and you're like, "Oh, that looks good. Hey, I'm gonna get you something. What do you want? What?" You're like staring in the window, just looking at me like, "Are you sure? Anything. You that look? Yeah, I'm gonna." And you just go in there, and you have your wallet out, and you're like, "Hey, I want to buy an apple."
Well, so at that time, I thought I was rewarding you for taking care of me and our stuff. In hindsight, you would not have got a candy apple.
No, but I will be honest. That was a well-timed apple. It was great. It was great. Refreshing after all of like the 6 or 7 sodas that I had, and the like the fattening chicken wings and all that kind of stuff from the
No
bar.
sauce.
Like, oh no, I'm not Kyle. I eat it with sauce.
Was he awake? Was he awake before? Were you awake, Adam, before John was in the morning?
No,
Mm-mm.
no, I was first up.
Okay.
I was first up. But anyways, so we get the apple. We go up the elevator. We get into the room, and he just kind of like lays down in the bed, and within like a minute or two, he's already snoring. And I think I even took a video and sent it to you guys. I was like, "Well, this is who I'm sleeping with tonight." And then a couple minutes later, Samantha calls, and I answer the phone. I'm like, "Hey, this is John." And she's like, "Oh, hi, John," because I don't think she and I had like been formally introduced.
Might
And
not have
so
at that point.
I was like explaining who I was, and she's like, "Is everything all right? Like, did he get arrested?" And I was like, "No, he was being an idiot. We didn't even like really get close to the police officer, but like it wasn't like there was no guns drawn, nothing like that. But it was like, you're drunk. Let's not go antagonize the situation." She's like, "Oh, well, thank you for getting him back safely." And I was like, "Yeah, but now I got to deal with this." And like, showed her you, and she's just like,
No, she gave you tips. She was like, get him on his side. If you get him on his
"Yeah,
side, he stops snoring.
yeah." And I was like, "I'm not touching him."
Well,
I'm gonna find that picture. I'm gonna pull a Kyle. I'm gonna pull a Kyle and find that.
Uh-oh.
I should have taken a picture of the empty trunk too.
I probably should have, just for security purpose or for police report purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it would have helped to have a picture of it.
I'll be honest, that was the most annoying part of that whole situation was sit here and fill out this whole form and like give
Try
us
to remember
estimated
everything in your
values of
bag.
everything. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Speaking of, we haven't gotten to the part where we went down to go to the game the next day.
Yeah, we
and
need to
the
get to
car was
that part before
unlocked.
you start talking about what the whole police
Yeah.
investigation was.
So I'll fill some time because he's looking for a photo. So
yes.
we're upstairs. We get dressed. We're ready to go to the field. We go downstairs. We go into the parking lot. We get to the car. We're going to throw our coolers in the back, and we open it up, and there's nothing in the back of the car. And my recollection's a little hazy, but I'm like, I'm fairly sure we didn't take our stuff in last night. And then John
Correct.
goes, yeah, no. And so the doors were left unlocked due to chasing me around, in John's opinion, which may or may not be
In
true.
my opinion,
Allegedly.
it's such horse crap.
But yeah, so all of our softball bags are gone with all of our
And
equipment.
why? Here's I know he's taking care of you, and you were drunk that night, but the bigger question is, why didn't John just park in free valet parking?
Because I'm a cheapskate, Kyle.
I'm just glad
I didn't
he
know
did.
that was the thing. I thought I had never been to Vegas and done valet parking. I always thought it was like 20, 40, $60, whatever it was. And then you had to tip on top of that. So I was like, oh, there's self parking in the back that's closer to the elevators.
It said
What I
free
thought was
valet
closer.
on the sign.
That is not well lit.
And it does not, it's not screaming free valet, right? Like, and you had already checked in. We just we pulled up to the hotel and went to the back. That was it.
Personal choice.
So
And you see what happens when you, yeah. Anyways,
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, so now we're standing outside of the car, staring at the back of it, and it's kind of like when you're hungry and you go to the fridge and you open it like 3-4 times. You keep looking, hoping something magically is going to appear,
hmm
and then the realization sets in. So we grab security. They call the police. Police come. We get a hold of Kyle to let him know what's going on. And so now we're doing police reports and trying to figure out what to do and how to do this.
All the while, we have a game in like an hour and a half,
And
and
no
we have
equipment.
no equipment. Yep.
Like no shoes, no gloves, no nothing. And so obviously we finally get to the field after doing all the police reports and all of that stuff, and we're buying things like from the pop-up stores to be able to play these games. Um, it ended up being quite the expensive Vegas trip.
yeah.
You don't realize how much money are in those bags until you got to start listing out everything that's in those bags.
Yes, and that's
So
that was the
okay, so
the
what did the
worst part
police
of it.
do? What like did they couldn't do anything because the car was unlocked?
Well, there was like there was no real footage of anything to see what happened. So there's video of somebody basically walking away with our bags.
Really? They showed you that?
You hear that?
Sounds about right.
Nice. Get a
Um,
CPAP mask so you don't snore.
so they didn't show us the video. They just said on the security said on the video you could see somebody dragging our bags away, but you couldn't tell who it was or anything like that.
Yep.
And obviously, there's nothing the police can do at that point. Like it's probably showed up in a pawn shop somewhere. I'm sure at some point,
It's
all our stuff.
crazy that nobody like I don't know where this person walked if they walked out towards the arena or if they walked like through the casino with the bags and nobody like stopped them and said, "Why do you have these huge bags that you're walking with?" Like that's
Why would they ask you that if you're pulling your bag through? Like, no,
I
nobody's
don't
Yeah,
know. If you have these two
if we're
big
taking
bowler
it to our
bags, like
room,
maybe.
well,
no.
I mean, what if we had taken our stuff up to the room? Nobody would have stopped us if we'd have done that.
But
Yeah.
you have one's carrying one bag, the other's pulling the other bag. So, but this
Yeah,
guy's
but I would have
Maybe.
had a cooler. I would have had
Yeah.
a backpack. I would have had. It's nobody's gonna say anything. But yeah, like more than likely, what they did is they brought a van or a truck or something in, and then they just kind of walked through and just quickly
Car to
like
car to
looked to
car.
see if they
Yeah.
could see it. And yeah, just every car. Is it unlocked? Is it unlocked? And, oh, here's one. Took it and out they go. And it sucks, luckily insurance was able to cover the cost of some of it. But I mean, the worst part was is it took me 7 to 8 months to find like the same bat that I like, the one that I was using for that tournament and that I've been using all season that I really liked. Yeah, it took 7 8 months, and then at that point, like I was nearing the end of like playing competitively. So
well, the worst part is we went and lost that next game to end our tournament. We got walked off. Do you remember that?
yep.
I don't think that was due to stolen equipment though.
It wasn't. It was just one of those. It was just one of
No,
those
I think
things.
I went 3 for 3 and didn't have anything hit to me. Like
Hey,
it
you
was
talk about me being bad as a DHH. The DHH that we had for that tournament, for those two games, was 10 times worse. I don't even think he put a ball in play. Did he put a ball in play? He fouled out, or he, I don't know. I just don't think
How many double plays did he hit into?
I didn't hit into any. Leave me
how
alone.
many
I
times did he
grounded out
roll
3
over to the
times, but I
second
didn't hit into
baseman?
double plays.
It was first baseman, not second baseman.
What's the
He was wearing them out.
I'm
Although
gonna
I do
find that
remember
line.
I remember trying to play infield with a glove that I couldn't close.
Yeah. Dude, whoever's glove I was borrowing, like it was like cutting into my finger and stuff. Like it was just
Well,
unbelievable.
and that's
It
the
was
same
a rough,
tournament that we
awkward
were going to stay
game.
an extra night, but Kit wanted to go home, and before we could get him with Keaton to go home, because Keaton was going home that right after
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
game,
we stayed.
we ended up
We
taking him
stayed.
home.
We had a
Me and
lot
Rob,
of fun.
because we
Yeah,
didn't get to go to we could have gone to the UNLV game. We could have went over to what'd you guys? You went to Excalibur or whatever.
So
Tournament of Champions.
we did Gordon Ramsay's, and in fact he was the first one to go, right?
Yeah,
If I remember correctly. And then we went to the Tournament of Champions later. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was fantastic. And the
We had a
wench
great
brought us
day.
our food.
Yes, our pigeon.
Our pigeon, our Cornish
That's
game
what they
hen.
told us. It was chicken, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it was
time.
fun. That's
That was a good day.
it was. I mean, after all the crap, yeah, it was fun. It was great. Like we turned shitstorm into an amazing time. It was great. It was
That
great.
sounds
Just
so
let you know.
wonderful, so lovely.
And had you guys stayed an extra day, you could have been part of the 3 and barbecue that we were a part of. Like
Hey, I know, I
you
know.
turned
I
3 and
blame Kit
barbecues
for it.
into a
I'm gonna
good time.
blame Kit for it. I might put that as the start of this, but I blame Kit for not having as much fun in Vegas that year. So, Kit,
Mm-hmm.
yes, this is on you. Now we're starting the
100%.
podcast.
Cut
Okay,
this. Dub it back to the beginning. There
yeah.
you go.
Now we're back to the anyways. Okay, Adam. He brought up college football playoff
Yes,
or college football, whatever. Did the
all of the above.
committee get it right with the bracket?
Uh, so slippery slope, right? So if you're talking about the best teams that are going to put on the best games, you're not going to have an SMU. You're not going to have a Boise, right? You're going to go with Big Ten and SEC. That's what you're going to have up and down the list. Um, so I feel like you got to reward those teams for those other conferences or from the Power Five and let them have their shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody loves about March Madness, right? Is
Yeah.
you do occasionally get an upset because the little guy's in there. So I think you got to reward that. But the fact of the matter is, we're no longer talking about the top 2 or the top 4, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about teams that probably don't have a legitimate chance to win another 3 games, right? So they'd probably lose somewhere in that playoff anyway. Um, so I think that the best team, I think we're going to get the actual college football champion moving forward because the teams that get in are the ones who legitimately have a chance when you're talking about that top 5 to 6. And so you're going to end up with the best team.
Yeah.
But we could go to 24 teams, and you're still going to have that fringe argument about the last 3 or
Right.
4 teams who get in. And realistically, they probably don't have a chance of winning it anyway.
Well,
So I think it's the right thing to do.
and that's the thing that I hate about it, though, is that I to your point, it's great to give those teams that are not from those 2 conferences, let's be honest, a chance at the title, and because they've earned it through their play throughout the year. But then they're going to go and lose, and they're going to say,
Yeah.
see, but like it's not their fault that
So
they
I
don't
mean,
have the
you're
schedule,
with
right?
what you're talking about. I mean, if we're going to go to that point, and that's where we're going to be, then call it what it is, and
Yeah,
just put 16 teams in the Big Ten, put 16 teams in the SEC,
and then that's its own thing.
and have it let them be their own thing, right?
Yeah.
And then essentially, you don't even have to go to a 12 team. What you do is you put divisions in, right?
Hmm.
So you go pods of 4, right? Just like you do in the NFL,
You
and then you start your playoff with you won your pod, so you're in the de facto playoff, and you let those schools play each other, and then everybody else has their own thing. And
this
here's the thing: if you did that, I guarantee you, money rights wise,
mhm,
they'd be more successful than the rest of college football.
probably this would be utterly chaotic, and I don't see it being feasible. But it would almost be amazing to see college football become like English soccer or football, whatever you want to
With
call it.
relegation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like the bottom 4 teams of that power super whatever
Conferences.
delegation,
Yep.
they drop down. They drop down, and then the top 4 of that, subset of teams moves up. So then you make it to a semifinal game in the B bracket,
Hmm.
you're going somewhere next year. You're going to the big conference. And yeah, I don't know. I don't ever foresee that happening, but like it's
Well, we're already getting like dangerously to the point between NIL and playoffs now. Like, how long are we there before kids aren't even going to class at all? Right? They're going to
mhm,
make their money. They're not even going to go to class, and it's minor league football with college branding.
yeah.
It already is
Yeah.
with the way that the transfer portal's set up, and with the fact that guys can just opt out 4 or 5 games into the season, or they can opt out right after the season's over,
Wasn't
and
Yeah.
it like
they can
three
take off.
after 3 games in the season so that they still can redshirt the rest of the season, something like
I
that?
think it's
Yeah, it's when you
4.
lose your red
I think
shirt,
it's
Is it
4
essentially.
4? Okay.
because that
Yeah,
UNLV quarterback went for 4 games before he decided to put his name in the
that's right.
portal.
Yeah, I mean, again, the whole scheme of things, I love what they've done. I I've kind of gotten comfortable with the idea of if you're a conference champion, you're not guaranteed a top 4 spot. Like You know how they have the
Well,
you know the
there's
the
more
top four
conferences than
conference
there are
champs.
4 spots, right? Like if
Right.
you include Power 5, there's more than 4 conferences.
Well,
So
what I mean is like the top 4 spots in the bracket are saved for conference champions. I'm okay.
yeah,
I think I'm okay now with the fact that no, let's rank the teams, and the top 4 ranked teams, regardless if they're a conference champion or not, get those four spots. You know,
I
so
but
I
here's
think
the other
one
thing
thing
I'll
to
argue about.
do. I think one thing to do with those top 4 spots, though, after that first round of games, they need to re-rank the teams or like
I think you should
Yeah.
reseed every round.
right, reseed every round so you have the right guys playing on the right teams that they should be
Yeah.
based off
And,
of.
and when I say that, like I'm not saying that you change their actual rankings. You go with their initial rankings when they were put in.
but you just
But if you have an upset,
yeah.
the bracket adjusts.
100%.
So I was laying it out the other day. I would love to see it get to 24 teams. 24 teams. You have 8 first round buys. So, you know, usually when you get to that point, the top the 4 kind of power 4 conference champions get a bye. The 2 group of 5 conference champions, so like the Mountain West and the American or whatever it is, get a bye.
Yeah,
And then
they get a bye, and then
and
2
then
at large.
the 2 at large get the other 2 buys. And then as long as you're pretty much ranked in the top 25, you make it. Then the only argument is 24, 25, who gets that last spot, right?
You'd have to shorten the regular season for that though, because
Well, no,
here is the thing.
No.
Well, here's the thing though. Like right now, they're still saying they go to class, and these guys have finals. They have everything else that's going on. If you're
yeah,
playing a playoff that's that big, plus playing 11 regular season and a conference championship, you're into what? 15 games, 16
Yeah,
games.
that's a lot
yeah,
of games.
yeah. I think you'd have to win an additional like 4 or 5
4 or
in
5
order
at
to make.
least.
Yeah.
Now,
So
and then here's the other side of it too. Like the non-stars, the
mhm.
extra injury risk to the non-stars is huge playing that many extra games.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a dilemma that's interesting, and I mean, it's like you said, there could be upsets, right? I mean, Boise State could maybe make the semifinals. SMU could win their first round game. Like I think SMU is going to win that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, but in the NCAA basketball tournament, like we see those first round games, maybe a second round game where there's an upset, but then the Sweet 16, the Final Four
The
is
blue bloods start
usually
to
the
take
power
over.
conference
Yeah.
teams. So I think,
Mhm.
like you said, we're going to have a true champion, but it's going to be a power conference team unless some fluke thing happens and Boise State pulls what they did in the Fiesta Bowl many years ago against Oklahoma and shocks the
So
world. So
do you not none of you guys think Arizona State has a legitimate chance? I mean, have you seen them play the last like 5, 6 games?
I think they have a massive chip on their shoulder that gives them an advantage.
Okay.
But
I think
So,
there's
so
4
no.
teams who would be a 2-touchdown favorite against them.
Yeah. Ohio State, Oregon, and Georgia.
no, I think Ohio State's
Yeah.
getting beat. I think Tennessee's going to beat them in the shoe.
Wow.
I'll put that out there right now. I think Tennessee wins that
Yeah.
game.
Well, hey, if that senator gets his way and they try to plant a flag, it could be a felony.
Oh, that's so petty. So petty.
Mm.
It's like if you don't want it to be
The
planted in your
Ohio State.
if you don't want it to
Yeah,
be planted, don't lose.
It's pretty much. So here's the thing. Oregon and Texas planted flags at Michigan this year. And there was 0 incident because you know what? Michigan was off the field. They didn't hang out on the field after they lost, right? Why was Ohio State even still there?
Yeah.
Now, I will say, if you watch some of that video, the second scuffle where the flag was ripped down, that was 100% on the Michigan kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
He kind of circled around to where Ohio State was. He wasn't on his side of the 50 anymore. Like he was instigating.
He
the
was
second
antagonizing the whole thing.
incident. So the first incident that I'm going to put that on Ohio State. They shouldn't even have been there, right?
Yeah.
But after that, we were just as guilty.
Yeah.
Also, one of the most epic pictures ever came out of that with our special teams units doing the OHIO.
Oh, I saw that.
That's epic troll job.
I saw that. That's awesome. Yeah. It's good that both of our teams beat their rivals this year. BYU got pretty lucky, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I I don't know. It's a different feeling though. Like, yes, we beat Utah, and we were on a high, and then it just, bleep,
Speaking of
you know.
Utah, I want to know, how did we color coordinate, you and I, tonight? Do you
This
see
is what I've
this?
been wearing all day today.
Like, he's in all red. I'm in red,
Mhm.
and then we got the black and like white helmet or hat. You got
Yeah.
your Dodgers. I got the cup. Like, how did we? That's
I
weird.
mean, your guys' communications piss poor at best, so I know you
It
didn't do it on
is.
purpose.
It was a total fluke. Just put it out there in the ether. Yeah.
Total fluke.
No. I'm
Total
pretty
fluke.
sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Kyle snuck over and like watched as I was going to the mailbox. What's John gonna wear?
That's why he was late.
Yeah.
He was actually
So
coming.
not
He was
true.
driving home from your house still.
Yeah.
So not true.
Oh, I'm trying to fix this fire alarm
Okay.
or
Prevention device.
Wow.
the 9-volt goes in this way and it
Well, I
just
put
it
in a
won't.
whole new one, and it was still going off.
Heather, fix it. I can't figure it out.
You gotta stop talking so loud. Coop's trying to go to sleep.
I thought you have an earbud in.
I do, but it's still loud.
He can hear it through your head.
Something like that.
Kyle. Also, I don't care. I'm being loud. I got 2 kids that are sleeping just a couple pieces of drywall through. This is my house. I will yell as loud as I want to, Kyle. It's my house.
He makes the rules.
Okay. All right. I get you.
Until he gets yelled at.
Okay,
Very
Adam,
shortly.
God, shut up. The kids are
I gotta ask
asleep.
you listened to those reels about that Airbnb, right? You listened to. What did you think about that? Did you think it was crazy that they had? You know what? I have the picture of the sign. I'm gonna share it with you. But while I'm looking that up while you talk about what you thought about
So,
that.
I'm gonna throw Sam under the bus here a little bit. So,
Oh no,
the house that
it was
burned
hers.
down, speaking to the fire, why fire prevention is important, is rebuilt. And
nice.
Sam is currently furnish finding, Airbnb, Verboing, etc. Right?
Okay.
Well, she had like a last minute booking come in. Cool, everything's good. Well, like she has the Ring cameras, right?
Mhm.
Well, they booked and there was supposed to, very similar to your story. They booked and there was like 4 people who booked, right? 4 adults, no kids, yada yada yada. Well, by the end of it, as there's alarms, or not alarms, but she's getting notifications on the Ring,
Yeah.
in and out, in and out, in and out. There is 7 or 8 adults and 4 kids who are at this house, and there's 4 adults on the reservation and nothing else.
See,
And so
I think
she
that's
reached out. She was like, "Hey, like you have to update the reservation." She was like, "It's not that you have to leave, anything like that. I
like
just need the correct amount of people on there. There's some insurance things and some stuff like that that cover you. So
Yeah.
like I need the reservation to match.
Yeah.
But we don't have cameras inside the house. We don't have somebody staying in the garage. Like there's no cameras in the backyard. So it really was just about making the reservation match. Yours went a couple steps further.
Well, I mean, the thing with needing to know how many people are, that's extra towels, that's extra garbage, extra wear and
Well,
tear
yeah,
on the couch,
all
I mean, all
that
those
too.
kind of things,
Yeah.
right? And so, like, yeah, if you're booking something for 8 people, but you bring 12, freaking cheapskates pay for the 12.
Look, I get that. I'm not opposed to that. But telling us that we can't even have like guys come visit to have like a dinner or something and then leave,
That's
that's
different
weird
too,
to
right?
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the fact that she knew exactly how many guys were in the house at that time when she messaged us, that's even weirder to me. Okay.
Well,
Then we
but
get
it's probably
this,
some management company
then we
or
get
something.
this sign on the back of their front door. This is the sign. Okay. Tell me that reading this isn't weird. That we have to let them know we're family instead of renters. That is so sketch to me.
Why is it just taped on there? That's like the cheapest job ever.
I don't know.
It's not even laminated.
Yeah, like
No.
laminate it, put in like one of those little slidey thing, like
You can actually hang a
Up your
picture
game.
frame on the door.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but
that's a
that would
weird
be
thing.
so much better. Like a
That
nice
is not as
classy
good as the
frame.
note at the house the last time where the guy had the hookup on everything.
What house was that?
You don't remember that? we stayed at that Airbnb during the tournament, and that guy basically said he had hook up for everything. It was like girls, drugs, alcohol. Call this number.
Which house was that? Was
No,
that
we stayed at two. We stayed at two different ones. We stayed at the
like
one
the
for
two-story house with
U-Trip, and we
the
stayed at one for GSL.
I think it was a 2-story one.
two-story one where like, yeah. So that was another one where I got down late and I slept out on like this loft area that
Was
had
that the
no
one where we
door.
watched QB1 all day
Like
long?
all
until
day.
we played?
Yeah, that one.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
Oh
great.
my gosh, that's
Yeah,
another
but
story, man.
I stayed well rested for the tournament, Kyle. I came out
I think
fresh, ready to go.
we watched 2 seasons without moving.
Yeah, like, are you kidding me?
All Kyle wanted was a pizza
while
or a
we boiled
buffet.
hot dogs.
No, I didn't
No,
want
no,
In
we
and
didn't.
Out,
We
which
didn't
we
do
did
the
end up
boiled hot
going
dogs
In
then.
and
That was I'm mixing that up. That was a different one.
Yeah, it's because of the concussion. That was that first house.
So
No,
okay,
the
maybe
concussion
it was more
the
like
second one. The concussion was the second
85%.
one.
I didn't have a concussion.
The QB1 was the first one.
Okay, so
The
okay.
QB1 was for U-Trip because that's when we were just Harmon Handyman. The second one we had the unique jerseys too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good.
So tiring, Kyle. These
Vegas
stories.
escapades. It's good times.
Yeah, you remember the well, we'll have to well, when we get Kid on, we'll talk about the other Vegas story that we went down where my tournament was canceled, but we still had an Airbnb that was booked, and so it was for what, almost like 10, 12 people, and it was just Kyle and me, and then
Yep.
Kit flew in and he stayed with us, and
Yeah,
that
Kit
was
flew
fun.
down for one of his buddy's birthday. They were going to party at the Flamingo, and so he came over and stayed the night with us and went golfing with us, and
Kyle
we had
got
a
stuck
fun
in the
experience
sand.
on the golf course. So,
Nice.
good times.
Well, Kyle,
Hey, so we got one more story too. This is the last time that Adam played with us. Played with, well, John wasn't there, I don't think. No,
I don't
he
know
was.
where this story's even going.
He was. The night you came up to play the one game in Evanston, and you thought we were going to win and we were going to play early the next morning. And I had to pitch. Do you remember that? And then Tyler had to pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
did not
scored
go well.
16 runs in the final inning to tie the game up just to send it to extra innings.
Yeah.
And then they scored like 10 runs and we couldn't score any because we didn't have any home runs. So that was the last time we played.
Yes, Evanston's always a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even remember why I had to go home. I had to like go. I knew I was going to have to shuttle back and forth.
You guys were doing
with the
something
dog,
with
right?
the house.
I thought it was the dog. But
well, that's another story because another time that you were supposed to come up and play with us, you couldn't because. How was your dog? Your dog went with you to Dallas, right?
Yeah. So actually, we have a new addition. So we have a second dog now. So we have Stella, who you guys know about. Stella's probably 7.5, 8 years old now.
Nice.
And then we got a second dog he'll be a year in January. His name is Artois. So Stella Artois. And this also goes together, right? So hold on, this goes together though, because when Sam and I, when we introduce ourselves to new people, everybody product branding and sees and remember things. So we always introduce ourselves as Sam Adams, right? So everybody always remembers us because Sam Adams. So we have the same thing with the dogs.
Nice.
So essentially, and again, we're probably going long now, but we'll tell the story. So Stella grew up in Utah, right? Was a puppy when I got her. We don't really have thunderstorms in Utah. Like once, maybe twice a year, right? Like it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
Well, Texas is not that. Texas has thunderstorms.
Yes.
Well, come to find out, Stella does not do okay with thunder. And so if we were not home when it was a thunderstorm, Stella would run away. Because we had a dog door, so she had access to the back, but she'd escape. She'd get out of the fence or underneath the fence. So we had a GPS collar on her so we could go find her, but this was continuing to happen. Like we didn't know really how to stop it. And so I finally talked Sam into, well, hey, let's get a second dog. I think if we get a second dog, Stella won't leave.
Right.
Like she'll have like a familial bond, right? And it turned out that it worked. So now she doesn't leave. She stays because of Artois, or Artie, as we call him. I don't know that she likes Artie because he's so young and still puppy energy. But she definitely has stopped escaping and definitely feels like a bond over him. And then unfortunately for Artie, Thursday is a big day. He's going to lose his little guys on Thursday and then have the cone of shame for about a week. So he's he is those little fellas dropped, and he started trying to hump his sister. So we had to get that taken care of. So
Probably shouldn't do that. Don't keep it in the house.
right, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Stella Artois.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Stella
Yeah.
Artois.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We recently got rid of rehomed our one dog, and he so we drove out to Iowa just before Thanksgiving, because that's where my boss lives, and they had recently lost well, not recently, but earlier this year, lost both of their dogs to illness and stuff. And so, we had talked and thought, oh, this would be great, because they have like 30-40 acres of land and all that kind of stuff. And so we took him out there, and it's been 4 weeks or so, and he's doing fantastic now. Like, there are some
Good.
initial issues with him being aggressive, and they have cats, chickens, and all that kind of stuff. And he's very much a bird dog, and
Yeah.
he's caught a number of
Instinct kicked over, right?
a number of animals around here. And so now he's finally okay with the cats. He's had play dates with like his dog friends, and he's absolutely loving it. They drive around their property with the four-wheeler, and he just runs alongside like it's
Nice.
nobody's business. So kind of sucks, kind of sad, but happy for him. So that's cool. I like the do you guys drink? Is that why Stella Artois?
Word association. Word
Go
association.
word association. Awesome. Well, Kyle, anything else you wanted to cover tonight?
No, we've gone for about an hour now, so it's been a good episode. I like this. It's good stuff. I will make the reels not about me. It'll be about Adam telling a story and John.
I want more Airbnb stories from Kyle.
I won't even be in a couple of them. It'll just be you and him talking. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, hey.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. It was good to catch up.
Yeah. And hey, Kyle, I'm sorry it's a sad day. You guys, we have to mention it. The Cubs decided to not invest in their future yet again, and have lost Cody Bellinger. So try to keep it under a minute. Let's keep this under 60 minutes today, Kyle. What are the Cubs going to do? Where are they going next?
I don't know. Good question. Because they got rid of their third baseman to send for Kyle Tucker. So Paredes is gone. So I don't know what they're going to do at third base. Kyle Tucker and Pete Crow Armstrong and Ian Happ in the outfield, though, that's pretty solid outfield. Not going to lie. Like, that's pretty good outfield. And, as long as they keep Nico and Dansby Swanson in the middle, I think they'll be okay. It's just the pitching. They got to shore up the pitching. So they got, what's his name? Michael Bush, who can play first base too. So, and he was really good last year for him. So it's just third base and some pitching. I mean, they need some arms. So we'll see what happens. And I know they're not willing to pay that $300, $400 million price tag that some of these guys are asking now, though. They're not going to spend that kind of money. At least the Ricketts won't. So I don't know. The NL Central is up for grabs every year. I mean, the Brewers are good, but like the Cardinals aren't good. The Pirates aren't good. So it's up for grabs every year. So, had the Cubs not lost 7 straight on the road to the Rockies and Diamondbacks, and I can't remember who the other bad team was they lost to. They might have been in the playoffs. So, so we'll see.
Hopefully things turn around for you, Kyle.
Yeah,
I like Cody Bellinger. I think it's an interesting fit in New York. Because he's just very much a laid back
down the right field line, and he's got 40 home runs.
Well,
they've already told him he's playing center field as well.
Yeah, they're going to move Aaron Judge over to right field. So,
and so Jason Dominguez, does he end up in left, or do they move him in a different deal?
Probably that.
You know what I mean? So what do they got cooking? And they're still heavy one pitcher as well. So I mean, there's some things there's still moves to be made there too.
Yep.
Well, Kyle, on that note, I'm going to have you send us out tonight. Do you want to mention the link that we'll put in the information below?
For all you hockey fans, Utah Hockey Club fans that are watching this, click on the link in the description. Get a jersey, get some apparel. They got the cool colors, the Utah Hockey Club. John knows. He's probably got something in his office he can show off right now. His little hockey stick. Very nice.
There you go.
So,
and we've got the puck
Utah
collection
Hockey
back
Club,
here.
Maybe we'll put a Michigan Wolverine link in there for Adam too, so
Right
that
there.
he can click on it and get his Christmas stuff and whatnot. So, Adam, much appreciated, my friend. It's always good to catch up. I'll be coming
Thank
to
you.
Texas in January. I think I said January, February,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
we'll be sure to
As
hang
of right
out.
now,
and
I got
visit.
no travel, so I'll be around. So we'll have to make sure we set something up.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
And Johnny, my boy, it's always a pleasure. Glad you could join us tonight late, since you were the last one to show up.
Because I was on my couch waiting for you, Kyle. Waiting for you to say, hey, I'm finally ready. I'm finally crapped and got off the pot.
49 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I had a tough
Ridiculous,
time.
Kyle.
I had to check my scores. I had to check my fantasy league. I'm in number
Oh, I
one
had to
seed.
do
I got to see who
Cooper's
I'm playing this
homework.
week. So
You got to put your waivers in.
yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
Hey, by the way,
Anyway,
did you win?
no, I didn't play.
Oh, you got to
Number one
buy.
seed,
That's
I had to
right.
buy. So I got to sit
Well,
and watch everybody else beat everybody else up. So yeah,
semifinal this week. Let's go.
absolutely. Again, Adam, thank you. John, thank you. And everybody, we'll see you on the next episode of No Sauce Podcast.